Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you.
Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Gary Gans. I'm the Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation Beth Tikva in Marlton. I'm sad but honored to be with you here today as we acknowledge and remember Michael. Ma'ayan HaChayim, wellspring of life. We have come together sharing our sorrow to commemorate Michael's life. We recall the blessing of his life. We thank God for all that was good and true in his life, and for the precious memories which shall endure. Eternal God, his family, friends are bowed in grief and seek light to dispel the dark gloom that threatens to overwhelm them. Be gracious to those who mourn, for they are in distress. Bless them with your compassion. Ease their burden of sorrow. Send them light and peace. For it is written, "Fear not, as I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I'll sustain you with my power." And let us all say, Amen. In his honor, I now read Psalm 23. An excerpt in Hebrew and in English interpretation. Mizmor LeDavid. Adonai ro'i lo echsar, benodesha yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenachaleni. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God has me lie down in green pastures, and leads me beside the still waters. God guides me on paths of righteousness and revives my soul for the sake of God's glory. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod do comfort me. You set the table in sight of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall abide in the house of the Lord forever. We acknowledge Michael's partner, Beverly. Michael's preparing for eventual retirement. Was building the dream home that he and Beverly would be moving into. He was going to have family time with her and with Phyllis, also in Florida. And we acknowledge the sense of loss that they feel. But I felt something else as I spoke to you several times now, is how the two of you have bonded with each other miraculously. Almost like sisters, the two of you. I see you holding hands now. It's empowering to see the kind of helpfulness, sensitivity, caring that the two of you share with each other. And it was enlightening for me to have that sense of strength, even during this difficult time, that you share and provide for each other. Phyllis, I think you said it to me, that this was the happiest you saw Michael in his life in this time since he's been going with Beverly. And Beverly, you told me God saved him, saved you. That meeting him was virtually a miracle. Not everybody gets to say those things. So it is reassuring to hear it. Mike was an avid reader. I took from his obituaries listed, and was an animal lover, leaving behind his beloved dog, Chloe, and his boys, the cats, Taco and Tequila. Michael had cancer a couple years ago, and he was being treated. And in a couple of weeks was to have been the turning point, his last medical intervention. Between moving to Florida, setting up a new home, ending his cancer care, he had a lot to look forward to and to share it with those around him. The best thing that I heard from Bev, however, was her nickname she had for him, Cowboy. She would refer to him as, "Hey, Cowboy." And she said that when they found each other, it was as if it was a gift from heaven. Now, we don't make the plans, but we do preserve the memories. And I welcome and encourage the two of you to share the strength of your memories with Michael and to share the intensity of the relationship you have made with each other. I want to share with you a text that I have shared with many members of my congregation, indeed, members of my own family, from this very pulpit. This was a text written several thousand years ago by a scholar named Ben Sirach. I'll read for you his words in translation as they echo through the eons. And he wrote, "We are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived, with all who ever will be. Cry for the dead. Hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace, and be consoled when the soul departs. Death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest is better than lingering illness. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, are our few days in eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good name, a good reputation, endures forever." As I came in, I heard the sounds of your greeting each other, understanding the gravitas of the moment, but the joy of the connectedness shows the spectrum of feelings that are felt in this room at this moment. And reflecting that, I read from the book of Ecclesiastes, which understood the highs and the lows of life. For everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Indeed, I welcome to the pulpit his friend Sandra Makowski to please join with us.
Thank you. And welcome. Never thought I would be doing this. I am sure that I speak for everyone gathered here today when I express my deepest sympathies to both Bev and Phyllis on the loss of Mike, a beloved partner and brother. For the remainder of us, Mike was a dear friend who never hesitated to lend a helping hand or to act as a sounding board to solve a problem. He was kind, charitable, and loyal to those who returned his friendship, and those friends were many. A few years ago, I attended the funeral of a friend and client who was estranged from his family. While the family attended the service, they were surprised by the number of people who waited in line for an hour to say goodbye to their friend. The family was even more surprised by the outpouring of love and grief expressed by these friends. They should not have been surprised. Families come ready-made and often survive by commonality, while friendships require commitment, the willingness to take time to foster the relationship, patience, understanding, and perseverance. Mike had those qualities, and his friendships were many and diverse. Mike was a daily visitor to our office and was always welcome. I watched while he walked by the windows to the office. At times, he was a step or two slower, but still determined to continue to work at what he loved, engineering. We were able to be there with him through the difficult times after Audrey's death, to share his excitement at a new relationship with Bev, to provide whatever assistance he needed during his struggles with cancer, and to support the next chapter of his life in Florida with Bev and their cats. His loss has left a hole in our lives that I am sure with time will become filled with happy remembrances. However, while the pain may dissipate, the memory of a wonderful, caring, and many times quirky friend will never fade. Mike, know that you will always remain in our hearts and minds. Goodbye, dear friend.
As I'm listening to Sandra, I was thinking of a psalm that I wanted to share with you in light of what we just heard. Adonai, our God, who may abide in your house? Who may dwell in your holy mountain? Those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth within their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, who scorn the lawless but honor those who revere God, who give their word and come what may, do not retract, who do not exploit others. Those who live in this way shall never be shaken. I'm going to conclude the ceremony in a moment with two significant prayers. The first is called El Malei Rachamim, God the Compassionate One. God we turn to in times of sorrow and sadness and reality checking with life. This prayer will also be using his Hebrew name, Michael ben Yaakov, Michael, the son of Yaakov. I ask those who are comfortable to please stand as I recite this prayer. El malei rachamim, shochem b'maramim, hamtzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina, b'malot kedoshim u'toharim, k'zohar harakia mashirim, et nishmat Michael ben Yaakov, shalach לעולמו. בגן עדן תהא מונחתו. אנא, בעל הרחמים, הסדירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים. וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו. וינוח בשלום Amishkavo v'nomar, Amen. O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, the soul of Mike, who has gone to his eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that he performed in the land of living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. The Lord is his portion. May he rest in the tranquility of shalom, of peace. And let us say, Amen. And now I turn to the Kaddish, the mourner's Kaddish, the mourner's prayer. Interestingly enough, there's no word of mourning in this upcoming prayer, no word of sadness. This is a prayer written in Aramaic, using Hebrew letters. And for those who are curious of history, it is written in Aramaic, the language of Jesus at the time of the land of Israel. This is a prayer speaking about God, uplifting God, the wonders of God. In many ways, it's a prayer for us, the survivors, to acknowledge life, his life, and all life that is eternal. I turn now to the text. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shmei rabba. Bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye de kol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imaru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach v'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shemei lekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'alma v'imaru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru. Amen. You're welcome to be seated. The family has informed me that should you be looking to make memorial donations in Mike's honor, the American Cancer Society or Animal Rescue certainly would be appropriate.